Welcome to Game of Roses. This is Pacecase.
This is Bachelor Clues, and we are about to break down Jenn Tran's Season 21, Episode 3, which was an interesting episode,
Wow.
to say the least. An interesting episode. A lot happened in it, and a lot was
I
very
was
surprising
obsessed
to
with
me.
it.
I wasn't
I was obsessed
obsessed,
with it. I
but
loved last episode. This one maybe wasn't quite as good as last episode, but
yeah.
I am obsessed with the Sam M. Devin rivalry. It
Yeah,
is so entertaining to me.
it's entertaining to me too, and unfortunately, I think for the season, that's the entire season. Everything is riding on that rivalry. There ain't much
Yeah.
else going on. But we will get to all of that. Before we do, I have some breaking news on Bookgate. This is, of course,
Ooh.
the controversial event that happened last week where old Aaron Erb gave Devin Strader a book just like Bennett Jordan gave to old Aaron Erb's younger brother, young Noah Erb, in season 16 of The Bachelorette on self-help, or what was it, intelligence? I have it here. I'm going to read
Emotional
it to you.
intelligence.
It was about, on emotional intelligence or something. The book
If you're
was
looking
called,
for a larger, in-depth discussion of it, we did about 20 minutes in our last Twibbin about Bookgate.
we did, but I didn't have the information that I now have when we discussed it last time.
Okay, I'm nervous.
So the book was called Principles for Self-Growth, and on the spine of the book, it says Principles for Self-Growth. So the title is misspelled. That's our first clue. This is a fake book. Our second clue is
Disciples.
that you cannot Google this book. It exists nowhere on the internet. And now we have our third clue. The book is written by, quotes, Dr. Brandon O'Connor. Now, a little bit of research, which was called Watching the Credits of Last Episode, The Bachelorette, reveals that there is a set designer working for The Bachelor named Brandon Connor. Is this coincidence, or is this
No.
telling us that a man in the prop department who is literally doing the set decoration, putting the candles behind everybody and all of this, probably made that book?
This is a mic drop moment, Clues.
I agree.
We've solved it. I think I think this is a conclusive end to Bookgate, which I never thought we would get. To me, this is, I mean, a 99% sure that this was made by props.
I agree. I think that that's accurate. And so we are now through the looking glass. This is professional wrestling. That
Thank
entire
you for
event
your
was
on the
staged.
ground reporting. Nothing gets by
Thank you.
Clues.
Well, I had to get to the bottom of it because I do think for me, Bookgate is this moment that is us walking through the door of the Attitude Era. They are now fully scripting scenes
Yeah.
in the main games. I don't know that we've seen something this overt possibly ever, or at least not since like back in the early days when kind of anything went. But certainly we haven't seen something like this for many years.
I mean, it's meddling. It's like it's giving Champagne Gate to me. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
fucking with them. Like you're just like, let's poke the bear some more.
But this was something that had to be conceived by producers or by old Aaron
hmm
Erb. And then they were like, well,
I
we don't
mean,
have a
now that you're
book.
saying it was the prop
Make one.
department, I don't think it was old Aaron Erb. I think it was producers. So
Told him to do it. Yeah, quite possibly. Either way, that's the type of season we're in, where the producers believe they need to manufacture literal fake books and script an entire scene for players to drum up this drama. And we'll get to what happened to old Aaron Erb in tonight's episode, which,
Jesus.
Anyway, let's dive into this.
Disappointed.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
Ruining my final four bracket. One gone
Yeah.
now.
And he was one of the most interesting players this season. So let's get into this.
Yes.
This is our recap of Jenn Tran's episode 3. We begin with this strange Chiron on screen and Dark Lord Palmer telling us tonight's episode of The Bachelorette contains images of a graphic nature, including scantily clad men thrusting and gyrating. If you have a weak heart or a raging libido, viewer discretion is advised. So this is a joke,
Instantly
obviously.
screaming.
Yeah, I mean,
Instantly screaming.
they're leaning heavily into it. Here's the problem. You're competing against shows like Too Hot to Handle and Love Island that are really giving you scantily clad people gyrating. This is a weak sauce version of it, and you know that from the
Yeah.
beginning.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Clues.
Oh,
I love this group date.
okay.
It obviously was meant for me. Um, I did not like the fake trigger warning that
Yeah.
if you're too horny, be careful.
Right. This
I'm
episode's
like
going to send you
listening.
over the edge. Yeah.
Yeah. You're if you're recovering from your sex addiction, it might make you go on a bender.
Yeah.
So be careful.
This episode of Bachelorette is the gateway drug to watching Too Hot to Handle. So before we get to that group
I
date,
look, I did like it. You get so much personality from a little dance like this.
yeah, I mean, we'll get to the group date. It obviously is a rehash of one that they did in Hannah Brown's season 15 of The Bachelorette, but we'll get to that. Before we have that, of course, a date card arrives. Dylan's the postman. Can our love take us higher? Spencer gets the one-on-one. Okay. And
I would have look, I was obsessed with this episode, and I think the reason it didn't match up to the last one is this date. I would have cut this date.
I agree. They tried to, very
Remove it from the
clearly.
record.
They cut it down as fast as they could, and this is the smallest amount of it we could get. This was one of the most boring one-on-one dates I've ever seen in my life.
Me too.
Jen is ITMing that he's giving golden retriever
Golden
energy,
retriever. That's
bringing
good
out
on
her goofy side.
paper.
Yeah, this is a bad
This
sign
was the most
overall.
acting I've seen Jen do. I'm like, you're not convincing
Yeah.
me that you're actually considering this person at all.
I agree.
I don't
I
know.
completely agree. It was maybe a step too far for her to be able to act this good in a scene like this to make it believable. Because I agree with you 100%. I was just rolling my eyes at this date. No one believes she gives a shit about this guy. I don't know why they're putting him on this date. I don't know why he got the rose. We'll get to that. So they're flying in a
No.
helicopter.
It's a get to the chopper, exciting, luxury date. I don't get it. I'm like, I guess it's to get out the cheating PTC. Like, I guess. Um, she loves that he put her seatbelt on
Oh,
her,
God.
kind of like a daddy.
But it's
Um,
like, who cares? And she's like, this is what I want. A guy who will like take care of me and put on my seatbelt. What? They're
I've never
grasping at straws. Like, can you imagine being in the
I
ITM and the
want a
producers are
grown
like,
ass man who will
yeah.
do my seatbelt.
Producers are like, you got to tell us something you like about him. And she's like, okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me really work this up. I mean,
Right? I'm like,
he put on my
whose
seatbelt.
brother is he?
He
Someone
did
on
put on
the
my
staff?
seatbelt. I have no idea. And I mean, I'm not even saying this is Jen's fault. Like, this dude is just seemingly boring as hell. And no offense to Spencer, that's his play
That's the
style.
edit he's
But
getting, you know?
yeah, totally.
We've seen ring winners. Well, kind of get that edit. Lauren Burnham, I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
They gave her and Aria a boring edit. They go to this beautiful rock formation thing in Melbourne called the 12
Melbourne,
Apostles.
Melbourne. And
And they kissed. He pours champagne, which she also loves. I'm
yeah,
like, okay, you love that he's pouring the
yeah.
champagne and putting your seatbelt on.
At some point, it gets to like, he was wearing shoes on both feet. And I really like that in a guy. When a guy I date goes outside, I like to know he's going to be wearing clothing, including shoes on his feet, on both feet. And he
Hmm.
did do that. So that's pretty good in my books.
He wore a suit for the night portion and he
He
shared a
did.
PTC. Like, you can't fault him.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I was so confused by this.
I was as well. We do get a little cut back here to the guys at the house where Thomas N and Sam M are kind of shit talking Devin, and Sam M calls
I
him an
love
ankle
this.
biting
I
dog.
love this. It's so funny. I got the little ankle biter nipping at my heels.
Yeah.
We're gonna be just fine. Kevin's not worth my breath or my energy, and I'm smooth with these. And he puts up his guns. The
Yeah.
gun show.
Like he's
There
going to
are
kick the
some
shit out of
threats
him.
of physical violence.
There
Some
have been
vague
this whole
threats of
season.
physical violence.
Yeah. Which I don't mind. Are we going to get to that point? I don't think so. But it does to me feel like Sam M and Devin and maybe Thomas N, like they really do not like each other for real. That feels
Uh-huh.
genuine to me. So
I
genuine, so
think
real.
that's part of why
The
I
distaste.
love the rivalry because it does feel so genuine, so real.
Yeah.
And they're all entertainers. Like they
Yeah.
are I don't know, it's so amusing to me. I'm not sure why. We get the next portion, this dinner date with Spencer. He loads this vague PTC. She loves his little things, the seatbelt. Uh, and she's had lots of toxic relationships, and
The
he
toxic
plays
relationships.
this
Can we
PTC.
talk about that for one moment? The amount
Yeah,
of times that she has now said her past relationships were toxic, it's like I get it. They need to start tapering that out of the show. She said it in
yeah.
this
Let's see some
episode
of
a
those
dozen times.
paintings.
Anything else, it's like this
Yeah,
is now her whole identity is she had these past toxic relationships, and potentially whoever the mystery man is that shows up in the near the finale or whatever, maybe that is one of those toxic relationships and that's why they're hitting it
is it
so
a
hard. I'm not sure.
skeleton or is it a resurrection?
It's old Aaron Erb. His fighter jet crashed nearby, and he's looking for medical
It
attendance.
could be old Aaron Erb. It would be a cool move.
I mean, we'll get to the old Aaron Erb thing. Like, you think Bookgate was crazy? Let's talk about fighter jet gate. Okay, I don't think it's real. Now,
What?
I don't think it's real.
What do you mean?
I do not think that is real.
You think he got a fake phone call?
Yes, I
Why?
could be wrong. I could be
For
wrong
what reason?
because he wanted out of the show. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but I think I just at this point can't trust anything they do. They manufactured a completely fake book
He's
for
like,
him
he's
specifically
texting
to have
Noah.
that.
He's like, code red, code red. They're making me give fake books. I gotta get
Yeah,
out of here. Pretend to be my
exactly.
fighter jet instructor. He
It's
comes with like a
Noah.
mustache and sunglasses. He's like,
Yeah,
old Aaron Herb, we need you right away,
yeah,
right to fight the bad guys.
exactly. Your fighter pilot school training window is these exact 2 days, and you can never
Yeah.
reschedule it. And this is it. Your one chance in life.
And you can't
Like, I don't know.
return. Yeah.
We'll get to it. We're jumping ahead of ourselves. So on this
I
one-on-one,
know.
he plays a kind of mirror PTC that he had past relationships where he lost himself. He's been engaged before they bought a house, saw his future together with this person, and one day she came back from a trip, grabbed some stuff, went to stay at her parents' house to think about things, and then he uncovered a bunch of infidelity evidence. Still doesn't know the extent of it, he says. So a decent PTC
Mm.
here, but like just played in a boring way. There was no
Played in a
tear play or
boring
anything.
way and played in a way that's like, I feel like there's a way of playing an infidelity PTC that's like a powerful, like,
I agree.
one where you are like having a redemption story, and there's a one where you are hinting, like, not even like where he says, like, I don't even know the extent. I'm like, you're hinting that it's still bothering you and like you might not be over it. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's shook your confidence.
If you're going to play an infidelity PTC, you, whether this is true or not, you walked in on it happening with your best friend or one of your immediate
Attacked
family
them with a high
members.
heel
Your,
shoe, like
yeah,
Tia. Or
exactly.
wait,
I
who
want
was it?
details. It was your brother, it was your dad, it was your best
Was it
friend.
Raven or Tia? I always mix them up.
I think it was Tia. I think it was Tia.
Yeah,
Um,
because it was Nick Vile's season. It was at the roller
well, that
skating
was
thing.
Raven. Raven was Nick Vile.
Wait,
But I
but I
think it was
thought
Tia. I don't
no,
know.
but I
One of
think
them had it.
I think it was at that dinner though, that
You're right.
PTC.
I think you're right. It
Um,
was Raven.
that's so Raven.
And I picked up her stiletto off the ground and beat him in the head with it.
He's
This was
in
not
a
so
very
Raven.
dark place. Didn't know when the sun was
Yeah.
coming up. Blah 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 blah. This is he's ready. It's been 4 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
She kind of questions him. She's like, "Has all this made you like skeptical of marriage? And are you really ready for it?" And he's like, "Oh no, it made me 100% ready, and I have to have my person and start my life." She picks up the 101 rose. He accepts it, gets a little kiss here, and then they go to the rooftop for some fireworks and some more kissing. And then Jen ITMs that because basically they were both with the wrong people, they're comfortable with each other, and he's showing up for her. And this thing of like, no guy has showed up for me. Now these guys are showing up for me. It's like they're showing up for a reality show. She has spent a
Yeah.
grand total of about 2.5 hours with this guy. He's not showing up for her. the idea that they're kind of like couching her identity in, I think is not really working for this season about like guys showing up for her. You
Mm.
can't. Like the guy who shows up for her the most will spend a grand total of about 24 to 48 hours with her. That'll be the ring winner. You know, it's hard for me to get in the mindset that like
It just
anybody's
feels
in
like
quotes
it's
showing
like
up.
something that she's saying to justify keeping floaters at this point to me.
Yes.
It's like I can say they're here for me and like that's enough. We don't have to have actual chemistry. She's like, it's
Yeah.
we're authentic and we share. I wrote snooze,
Yes.
fireworks.
And look,
They make
some of this
up.
is on her. The one of the hardest jobs I think the lead has in any season is making this middle part of the regular season entertaining. Night one is always going to be good. The playoffs, hometowns, fantasy suites, always going to be good. Finale, always going to be good. Those pieces kind of move themselves. It's what you do from episode 2 to episode 6 that is like, you better entertain us. And that is partly the lead's job. You have to carry the show on your back. And I got to say, in this episode, I thought she didn't do it. We'll get to her lay down the law speech,
Hmm.
which I thought was weak as hell. We'll get
I
to all
liked the
this.
lay down the law speech. I liked the fire under my ass. Um, I will say, unfortunately, speaking of meetings of the families, you're gonna have to watch Love Island USA this season. I'm
That's what everybody says.
sorry.
I just don't have time.
I just, I, you have to. I'm
I simply
sorry.
can't. I'm doing Too Hot to Handle season 6 in Clues Corner right now, though, if you're interested.
I
That's
mean,
only going to be 10
obviously, I'll be
episodes.
watching that, but you have to do this as well.
How many
How
episodes are there
often do I give you
of the season?
assignments?
How many episodes are there? 100?
The episode number is not important. Don't
It
pay
is.
attention to that. Just press next episode.
I don't have the time. I simply
And
don't have the time.
I mean, I'm on episode 33.
That enough? That is enough for me to say I will never watch it. Let's move on. Grant
No,
comes.
I'm telling you that you have to. The
I simply
things
can't.
this
I simply
season
cannot.
is so good, so
Uh,
for TRR. The friendship play is out of control. Characters are so good. This meeting of the family was iconic.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I'll simply never watch it. Grant comes in. He's the postman here with
I'll
another
keep
date
bringing
card.
it.
I'm looking for a love down under, and this date contains 10 men. Dylan, Marcus, Tom, Say, John M, Grant, Jonathan, Sam N, Thomas N, Sam M, Devin. There's so many M's and N's last names. There's John M, Sam N, Sam M, Sam N, and Thomas N. It's so goddamn confusing. But nonetheless, they all get this group date and they all agree it's a lot of guys. And Sam M here ITMs that he doesn't see anybody else getting engaged to Jen other than him. And he says, Devin better watch out because if it's a competition, he's going to step on his neck. He's giving
Step
us
on
all
his neck.
these physically
Dang.
violent threats are coming through Sam M. Portion 3 begins.
Yeah, curb
Uh,
stomping like Drive, Sam F. Like I
yeah.
feel like he's like playing up this character. I mean, both of them I feel like are, and that's part of what I love it.
Yeah, they're the most entertaining part of the season at this point.
Yeah.
The guys here come to meet Jen in front of the Forum Theater in Melbourne, and Devin ITMs that he's going for the group date rose and he's going to put his best foot forward. Jen then explains to the guys they're at this historic Forum Theater in Melbourne. So today they're going to check out a performance from a local talent group, and we already know what this is. We've seen the promos. A bunch of these jack guys come
I
out on
didn't know what
stage.
this was. I was
Oh,
tricked and I loved this bait and switch where it's like, oh, maybe it'll be a choir or like something
yeah.
like it's a ballet theater. Nope. Thunder Down Under,
The Thunder Down
Sheila's.
Under. These jack dudes are dancing, they're
Oh, I
stripping.
love this.
Jen explains that these are her friends, Thunder from Down Under, and one of these Thunder Kings with a sleeve tattoo steps forward to explain that this is an artistic performance forced nudity group date, and the guys will be stripping against one another to prove that they have what it takes to be with Jen. And it's also going to be a public performance in front of a live crowd when they have to do their strip dance that night. And the Thunder Kings show them some moves like the body roll, the dolphin dive. The guys all try their own dolphin dives. Sam N.
This Thunder
Oh,
King with the sleeve Tat who demonstrates the body roll, and in my mind was really the one popping out of the Thunder Kings was my Jorge Moreno, bystander of the week.
The Thunder King that explained the rules to the guys with his sleeve tattoo was my Jorge Moreno, bystander of the week. I love the Thunder Kings.
Oh, same one. Yeah.
Was it the same one?
I loved them too.
I thought the body
there's
roll
only
was a
one
different
with
one.
with the tattoo
Yeah.
all down his arm. Big one.
Okay, maybe we're
I
talking
thought
about
he
the
was the
same
body
Thunder
roll.
King. All Thunder Kings are one
I
Thunder
didn't know
King.
about these the terminology for these. I kind of liked that it was like a learning experience, the dolphin dive. We hear all this piped in like orgasm noise
Yeah.
at various times watching them practice. Interesting.
Yeah. Again, it's just this pales in comparison to any of the forced or voluntary nudity play that you see in any Netflix show, in Love Island, in anything. It just feels old to me. And I don't know how else they do it on ABC.
I mean,
but
you have to be able to do a professional strip dance to go on Love Island.
Exactly.
Bachelor, there's fewer who can.
All of these guys are terrible. One is
A lot
so
of them
bad,
are
in
doing
fact. What's that?
The worm thing? I thought they were good at that.
Oh, well, agree to disagree. As someone who knows a lot about male stripping, these guys were hitting a 1 out of 10. Sam N, in fact, is so bad. How much do you hit? What's that?
What out of 10 do you hit with these?
When I was these guys' age? 11. Sam N is so bad at this that he messes up his thumb and wrist. This is an IFI. They are then shown the grip and rip, tearing off their shirts.
Funny. A good move.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do now. If I had to perform any of these moves now, everything broken, everything torn, I would have to leave the show because of medical disqualification. Absolutely. They are then doing the grip and rip, and Jenn is ITMing that she and Sam M have this palpable sexual tension. The Thunder Kings then tell them that one guy is going to be crowned Mr. Love Down Under. This is like the ultimate Viking. And they better get ready for their live studio audience.
Wait, when
experience.
Sam M goes, she goes, there's palpable sexual tension. Get me a towel. Love this. Wet queen.
So Jenn then says she's not looking for the best striptease or the best abs. And when they say not looking for the best abs, these savage fucking producers cut to Devin's stomach. Brutal.
This shot of saying not looking for the best abs and then panning up Devin's body was my wowee moment of the week.
I agree.
We are body shaming in the year of our dear Dark Lord 2024.
And in the season where you kick Brett Harris off night 1, producers. Can you imagine Brett Harris being on this date?
They used to do this all the time with like the women's boobs, and
Yeah.
they would have like Jason Mesnick going voiceover like, I love her great assets, and they would just zoom in on this woman's tits.
Yeah. I mean, different time. It was a different time.
And then my sister and I coined the term qualititties when we watched that
nice.
scene. She has
That's
great
a good term.
qualititties.
So the Thunder Kings here tell the guys they have to put on costumes in addition to this. So they run upstairs. They're putting on all their costumes and talking about how scared Devin is going to be. And then we get a casting card saying, "Are you looking for a thunderous love?" Portion 4 begins. It is the show. DLP emerges as the host for this event. We have some guest judges here. Australia's sister bachelorettes, Becky and Ellie Miles. Becky Miles has 59.2K Instagram followers. She was the 5th place finisher from Australian Bachelor Season 7 and the 6th season co-Bachelorette in 2020. Ellie Miles has 162K Instagram followers, and she was a Bachelorette with her sister on that same season. I found that to be pretty interesting.
Sisters
What's that?
as leads.
Yeah. Season 6, Australian
That's cool.
Bachelorette.
That's cool.
I agree. But that was in 2020. And then when was Bachelorette Season 19? Exactly. So it does seem to me, and we've talked about this before, but they kind of experiment in other regions' Bachelor and Bachelorette shows to like take ideas and be like, oh, we could have two bachelorettes in the U.S. show too.
Yeah, or Too Young to Be Serious storyline from Bachelor Canada. Let's use that in
But
our
making them
season 7.
serious or making them sisters is like way more interesting, in my opinion.
I agree. I'm like, oh, you really have to probably decide much quicker than with Gabby and Rachel.
Totally. Yeah.
That's
At any
cool.
rate,
I kind of want to watch it now. And they were great, great colorful narrators for this whole thing too.
yeah, I agree. I really liked what they did because they've been on TV. They're bachelorettes. They get how to do this. DLP opens the show, and we see that this is like a literal exact recreation of Hannah Brown's forced nudity group date back in season 15, on which, if you'll remember, a guy named Luke Parker hit a love level 3 on that date.
I'm genuinely starting to fall in love with you.
Exactly this early in the season. So don't forget that. Dylan is up first.
I didn't forget, and I'm telling you, this season is Hannah Brown coded deeply.
Coded? It is Hannah Brown's season. They just switched out the bachelorettes and the guys. This is the same goddamn date they did. The literal exact same. With the exception of it wasn't in Melbourne and we didn't have the Thunder Kings, but other than that, it's the same date. It's literally the same date. It's guys on a stage forced to strip and grind their genitals in her face, which we see some of. We see Dylan here is the CEO of Make You O. We see Marcus is an astronaut
He
named
does a
Neil.
little gentleman here, puts his jacket on Jen like that.
Yeah. Marcus is an astronaut named Neil Realstrong. Thomas A. is a snake whisperer with a rubber snake. Grant moonwalks.
And this rubber snake around Thomas's neck didn't have much competition, and therefore it was my creature of the week.
Yeah. I was hard pressed. I was like, shit, there were no creatures, but you're right. I guess it's the rubber snake. The rubber snake
I
was
guess
also
you
my
could count
creature.
the worms.
The worms.
You know, like Franco Lacosta, I once gave him creature for this like gazelle like impression that he did.
Oh yeah.
I could argue that some of these guys doing the worm was kind of like a worm.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. The snake
yeah,
was
no
also my creature of the week.
Sam N is continuing his panic attack play about not wanting to do this type of date. Of course, he's on this date. And Marcus is humping his space helmet. Jen loves that space spicy side.
Yeah.
And Grant crushes as Mr. 8 rounds. Thomas N does the worm as a nerd. John M is Dr. Chocolate. Love that. John M is getting in the mix this episode.
I agree. I like to see him stepping up a little bit. Yeah.
And he has good face play,
He's a
too.
sleeper, I think, this season.
Jonathan is a firefighter. He throws his hat into a somersault. And then we see... we cut to the Sam M. He is going to be Chef Luster. And he says, I'm going to be nasty. She's going to eat it up. Nasty is a big word in this Love Island USA season. By the way, people are just like fucking in that show. In the group room. Like
that's what I'm saying. There is no competing with stuff like that. Bachelor is very antiquated. And I think when they try to do these things that step into that territory, like, oh, look at all of our guys are stripping. It's just like, oh, don't do this.
The trigger warning about horniness, it's so cheesy.
And it just doesn't.
I wouldn't do it.
With the exception of Love Island USA for me, but just for me, people aren't watching Bachelor to get that kind of content. There are other shows that do it a million times better. A million times better than could even be done on network television. So for my money, I take all of this type of shit out of this show The forced nudity group dates have to be removed from this show. Replace it with something more interesting, with something funny, with something that actually is kind of cute and gives them a chance to really get to know each other. I understand what this is like, what the attempt is, but back in the early days of Bachelor, when they were doing this kind of stuff, and I'm talking about way before Hannah Brown's season, when you would have a group date where they all go to a spa and everybody's in bikinis or something. I'm talking like
Yeah.
2002, 3, 4,
That's the thing.
5.
You can get the forced nudity just by having it be like a swim date.
Exactly. And back in the
And it doesn't have to be
day,
as demeaning.
yeah, that too. But back in the day, you weren't competing with Netflix and Love Island USA because that shit didn't exist. Now it does, and you're still trying to do the old thing, and it to me it makes the show feel like they don't
Old.
get it. They don't understand what reality TV is now, and to me this just doesn't cut the mustard. That's just my 2 cents on it. I would get rid of this date
Not cutting
type
the
completely.
mustard, says Clues.
Yeah, and also you
I
have to
want
look at
to
it.
see. Look, I want to see I love dances, and I love nudity. I do think there's better ways maybe to get it out.
Yeah,
Though.
make them do a ballet recital where all the guys now are in leotards, so they're still kind of scantily clad in tight clothing, but now it's about they have to put on a dance in front of a bunch of people who like ballet. That's funnier, at least, than this.
I would
And
love a ballet.
you also have to look at the flip of this. This is 2024. Would they ever do this with women? Okay, you guys all have to come out and do a strip show for whoever the Bachelor is. Probably not.
I mean, bring female strippers on? They would never.
I'm saying it would be the Bachelor and all the women on a group date would have to do this.
I mean, the closest they do is like a pageant. on
Yeah,
a group
or like
date.
they have to take pictures for
No, they're not
some
going to do
calendar or
it.
something.
The last time I can think of is the nude dodgeball date on Claire Crawley's, and I feel like they haven't.
That was guys.
Yeah, but I'm saying I feel like they've mostly cut these types of dates out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they're trying so hard to like reach back into the past and be like, this worked on Hannah Brown's season. We'll do it here. And it's just a different time, even from Hannah Brown's season. A lot has happened since 2019 in the United States of America.
Like what?
Anyway, what has happened? Couple of
Okay.
Super Bowls.
We get a glow from one of the Australian bachelorettes on Sam M. I could see the chemistry, and they issue a warning: beware the ones like that where it's too spicy. I picked that for my ring winner, and it didn't work out.
Yes, a dark prophecy. Devin then is finally up next as a dirty detective. He ITMs that he knows his body is not a 10 out of 10, but he's going to keep it fun. And he comes out and he strips down. It looks like he's wearing a thong because his ass gets black boxed, and he's grinding
I
in
count
her
that as a
face.
voluntary nudity play. Like he's going above the ask,
Yeah.
the call.
I wrote here, there's an experimental play to be done where you come out fully nude, 100% absolutely dick out nude. Let ABC deal with that. You want me to do this? I'm doing it. And then you just start pissing all over the stage. You make a real show of it. This is what you wanted, right? Let them all know.
Oh my God. I mean, he is dressed as a flasher in this dirty detective outfit. The Aussies call it big dick energy when he puts his leg up on Jen's desk and thrusts his BDE in her face, and he's not holding back. Sam M hates it. F this guy. Sam M, the love virgin, is he's like, this is the worst thing ever. I'm gonna bare my soul, my my BDE. And he says he doesn't strip. He comes out and he says, I'm already falling in love with you. Public love level 3.
Yeah. And we get some good reactions here. One of which is from Dylan, who responds with a full open mouth, full eye aperture, a rictus of shock and awe. It was my runner up. Sorry.
There were so many good face plays.
It was at the time. But this is, again, a direct repetition of what Luke Parker did in season 15 of Bachelorette, except Luke Parker did strip.
But and also Luke Parker like had a connection with Hannah Brown that we
Yeah.
had seen. They
And
had
he's the
the
villain
religious thing.
of that season. Luke Parker was like, even at that point, the guys hated him. He was really being pushy and being an asshole to them. Sam In
Stay in your
is
lane,
like,
stay in your lane.
I just feel bad for him. This whole thing, I'm like, oh, Jesus, this show is making fun of him bad. I
Yeah,
feel
it's a
very, very
it's a
bad for this
full
guy.
fool edit.
Yeah, it's cruel. I agree.
He says he feels pathetic and judged. And Jonathan gets that group date win. He is crowned Mr. Love Down Under. And he gets a crown and he is carried by the rest of the guys, which I loved, which
Yeah.
I suggested for our wedding
Oh, nice. He also loaded a love
that
level
I be
2.
carried by 20 bridesmaids down the aisle in a
Yeah.
throne.
Or sorry, Sam N loaded a love level 2 as well, even though he played a love level 3.
I
And Sam
noticed that.
M
And then
here,
he tries to walk back the level. This poor man.
Sam M is ITMing that Sam N can't know what a ferocious love really looks like. And all of his dialogue here, and most of the dialogue that is played off face for this whole episode, is just horribly Frankenbitten. I mean, you can hear it very easily. It is terrible. And so it also lends to the fact that this season is starting to feel to me cobbled together. Like we have to make shit happen out of nothing, basically. And I'll simply say to the editors of the program, there are a variety of very inexpensive AI tools you can use right now to clean up that audio and make it sound like it didn't come from 15 different interviews. I would look into all of them and start
We're
employing
gonna
them
get the
immediately.
Bachelor Clues director's cut.
This episode just sounded terrible. The dialogue editing of it was abysmal. And I
I
don't,
do notice like a lot of really long lines off face. I'm like, I'm staring at someone's back of their head for way
Yes.
too long.
I agree. And I don't mind that if it sounds clean. None of this did. It like I don't know what they had to do to like put this episode together, but there were so many Frankenbitten lines throughout that it was like to get them to say the right thing, like that they're mad at this guy or this guy shouldn't be here or whatever, to really drum up the rivalries that are happening and stuff. And I just think that there's a better way to do these things. That's all. I mean, there's literally technologically a better way to do what you're trying to do, editors. Just Google AI audio filters. You'll find a bunch, and they work. And
Damn,
they're very good and very
roasted.
easy. Portion 5. The after
Portion
party.
5, we get the after party of the first group date. Jonathan gets that first one-on-one time and does a weird play here where he says, we have limited time. I want to get this in before you're stolen. And a weird kiss lead-in line here.
But he gets the kiss nonetheless. It worked.
I mean, yeah, that's Mr. Thunder Down Under,
Yeah.
you know,
Now,
that energy.
back with the
and-
guys, Devin is like, how did you all like my ass? He's stirring the pot. And I just wrote in all caps, why is Aaron Erb not on this date? I didn't understand that. He and Devitt had beef. Why not
because
throw
he's
him in this mix
only
too?
one who can drive stick.
Maybe
And
that
they
was
have
it.
Sam M to fight with Devin.
Yeah, I guess so. They needed him to drive the race car.
I mean, I
guess.
think that's the reason kept playing that up.
Yeah, I don't know. But we get this
Devin
one-on-one time
steals
with
from
Devin.
Jonathan. We get this one-on-one time. And Devin says, thank you, sweet Jennifer, for giving me the confidence. Your smile gave me pure joy. I couldn't have done it if it wasn't you because I had weight insecurities in my past. And this weight insecurities PTC was my play of the game. I think he would have gotten the group date rose anyway because, like we suggested last time, that he should get the
Yeah.
group date rose. Just keep poking the bear. Keep poking the bear. But this lended it credibility, and it was just the perfect thing to play after a date like this.
I agree. And for that
Very
reason,
vulnerable and taking down walls.
it was also my play of the game. I couldn't agree more. Coming
let's
off the
go.
heels of this one or this group date that made him do a forced nudity play against his will, this is a perfect way to play it, to say that date we did today was harder for me than it was for the other guys because of this. but you were the reason I was able to do it. Thank you so much. It was a perfectly played PTC. And I would argue
You
that,
bring out the best in me.
yeah,
Gaze,
basically all
play
that kind of
based with
stuff. The
strength.
process is working. It's bringing me out of my shell. It's helping me overcome my past insecurities. It was a better played PTC than what we saw Spencer do on his one-on-one. And I think that's a hard thing to do.
1,000%.
Because on a one-on-one, it's served up on a platter. You're on the stage. They're saying, play your PTC. Nobody else is around. The lights are right on you, you know. I just thought that Devin dominated the PTC game here. And that is a hard thing to do if you're playing yours on a group date, in my opinion.
I agree. And, you know, this is a big group date. And this play was so good. It was such a good first audience game. He gets that kiss, and she thinks there's layers. He's an onion. Shout out to Rob on Love Island USA, the onion. We get Sam M's talking with the guys, and he says that he took offense to Sam N's love level time and place.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite things in this whole episode was like the love level differentiations that were happening and when and where can you play them, and everybody's got their own ideas. Sam N steps up in his one-on-one time, and he says he apologizes for being corny. He explains this is a new process. He doesn't even know how to hold her hand, and he says it's making him feel... She's making him feel a special type of way. He's now ratcheting down to a love level 1 after he played a love level 3 on the stage.
You hate the notch down in the love levels from 3 to 1.
He went 3, then he loaded 2, now he's playing 1. It's unreal. I've never seen such a thing.
You can't let the guys peer pressure you to lower your love level. If you're going to play love level 3, you have to mean it and stick by it.
Yeah.
I mean, he love level 1s her here. We see Sam M and Thomas kind of mocking him, saying he's never known love. He can't, whatever. Thomas says the time and place thing. It's ludicrous. We see Devin ordering a drink at the bar. And I'm like, we don't see anyone else order drinks. They're all drinking. I'm like, what is this? I was trying to figure out, I'm like, who are they trying to get us to root for? I'm rooting for chaos, like Sam M versus Devin. I'm like, I want both of them to stay forever and just keep fighting each other.
They are, to me, beginning to represent a version of the Great One versus Sean Booth back in Caitlin Bristow's Bachelorette season 11.
Wowee, invoking the male Great One.
Yes. The difference is, I believe Sean Booth really was way into Caitlin, and obviously they had a multiple year relationship after it to kind of prove that point. I don't think Devin or Sam M give a shit about Jenn Tran. I don't think they care at all. They're here to get Instagram followers, period. And I hope they do.
Yeah,
but I agree.
I've seen some rumblings too about Sam M that lead me to think maybe never seriously going for the first audience play.
Yeah.
We see the next portion. John kringles some chocolate to Jenn. We don't get to see this conversation. Don't like that. You should have Spencer.
Yeah, I agree.
Couldn't be worse.
I agree.
And Sam M loads his level 2 here.
Well, he's in front of all the guys. He's back in front of everybody.
Oh, right. This is all the guys.
And he's like, I want to address the elephant in the room. And he's like, I'm feeling some type of way. He felt the word love was devalued, what he was trying to say, and he feels pathetic about it. What he meant to say was that he's starting to fall in love. So he's literally notching down now to the other guys to a love level 2. But he already notched down to Jenn to love level 1. It's a weird escalation of downgrades coming from Sam N.
We never saw Luke Parker back down. He was level 3 and then only 4s from now on.
Yeah, only 4s and insanely possessive demands about not looking at other guys and stuff. That's the path Sam N should have taken. You know what? I should have said love level 4 and all you guys, fuck you. She's mine now. That's where he should be going.
Yeah.
But he's doing it the opposite.
Devin, now that he's lost his boy Brian, he's like, Sam, and it's my other boy. He starts defending him. Don't backtrack your love level. Everyone needs to have respect for people's feelings, etc. And Sam M is like, I might be more soft spoken, but I mean what I say. I'm like, wait, what? You're talking almost constantly.
Yeah.
And they're clapping at each other, they're smiling, a mutual respect, but they're laughing. This is the part that really makes me feel like this is a real rivalry.
Me too. I think they really
Um,
don't like each other. When he's like, I have
Talking
no
about the
respect for
whispering
you.
and
I
the
mean,
chattering.
yeah. They kind of square off. I don't know. Thomas N is like laughing at him. Devin agrees they're not going to be friends. And he tries to get this last word. That's mutual respect. And then Thomas N is like, you always have to get the last word. I don't think any of these guys like each other. I think Thomas N and Sam M are kind of, what is it? Enemy of my enemy is my friend. And Devin
Mm,
is the enemy of both of their enemies or whatever the, what is it? I forget how it goes.
that
You
sounds
know
right.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I love
Strange
Thomas like
bedfellows.
collapsing. You have to have the last word, child. Sam
Yeah.
Adams like, leave it. The soft spoken, peacekeeper. And he's like calling him a clown. Uh, And we get Sam M gets a Chiron needs or a job title needs to look up the word bully. So I was like, okay, maybe the
He's
show's
getting a
accusing
villain
him
edit.
of being a bully.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
He's getting a villain edit now. And we see his one on
Yeah.
one time with Jen. And they have this weird little thing about, like, do I make you flustered? And he's like, no, you bother me. And she's like, well, why do I bother you? Into a kiss. They never talk about anything. They just go straight to making out. That's his whole game is chemistry at this point. When this
Mm-hmm.
guy gets a one on one, it is going to explode in his face, I think. I don't think he understands how to do speech play at all because we watch him in
I
these one
can't
on
wait
one
to see
moments.
it.
I mean, I just
But
think
I
it's
think
going to
we're
be
gonna get a two on
disaster.
one.
What's that?
It feels like we're gonna get a 2-on-1 between Devin and Sam
Yeah,
M.
that may happen, but I think both Sam and Devin have to get their one on ones, right?
I hope so.
I think they
I hope
have to,
so.
and then we'll probably see a two on one after that. But nonetheless, he
She
gets all
then
these
does
kisses.
some tries to extract a defining the relationship from him. You haven't asked me to be your girlfriend yet. He then starts taking off his shirt, starts unbuttoning. I'm
That's what I'm
laughing.
saying.
And he
And
says, will you
she's
be
not
my
into it.
girlfriend? And then he goes to one knee. I'm like,
He doesn't know what he's doing. Like he can't
oh
have a
man.
conversation when she's like, "You haven't even asked me to be your girlfriend yet." And then his immediate response should have been like, "Oh shit, I thought that was like already on lock. Are we not boyfriend and girlfriend? Turn it back on her. Make her
Oh
ask you." You know,
yeah. I
there
love
are many ways
that.
to
Table
play
turner.
what she set up there, and instead he does these weird pseudo strip moves on her that she's clearly not into. She's like, "What are you doing? Oh my god!" All she's thinking about is like, "I'm on camera with this guy grinding in my face again." And what is happening? Then they have to make out some more. And
Yeah,
he's
they play the
trying
chemistry
to,
song.
yeah, they're riding on that chemistry game so hard. I just think it's going to fall apart on a one on one where you have to literally sit at a dinner and not be making out with her, not be taking off your clothes, not be grinding your genitals in her face. I don't know if he can do it.
I think
We'll
he
see.
can. I think he can. Well, I mean, we'll see. I had high hopes for
Yeah.
old Aaron Herb,
God.
Gonzo. Um, Jen calls him bad news. They make out, and John expresses he's tired of shaking in his boots at Rose ceremony. Who's going to get the group date, Rose? And Jen joins the boys and says, I love confidence. Someone I know is confident. I love layers. Devin gets that GDR, that 0 pointer Rose, and he ITMs fireworks. And we get some more of this weird Sam M. I commend your humility, but he's giggling.
I love that part. They're just like passively aggressively shitting on each other now. It's so funny
Yeah,
to me.
while laughing.
But this
It's
is the whole
great.
show. Like, do you find right now, are you rooting for any of the guys to actually wind up with her?
Maybe Dylan or that might be.
I'm not. Like, I don't even care about
Who?
that. They seemed okay, but I'm like, none of these guys. And furthermore, who amongst these fellows do you see wearing the crown in season 29?
Dylan?
That's about it. And I don't even know if he got the juice. I
I
don't
think he
think
has
this
the
is a good
juice.
crop.
I think he has the juice, but they're not playing him up that much. I'm concerned.
That's what I'm saying. I think this might be a
Concerned.
little bit of a dud season in terms of the guys, because the only thing you've got going on right now is the Devin Sam M and Thomas N kind of on the side of it. That rivalry that's brewing. Once that
Hmm.
is put to bed in a 2-on-1, I don't know what the rest of your show is.
That is doing a lot for me, though.
It is for
I
me
will
too.
say.
It's super entertaining. But again,
Yeah.
once that's gone, and that'll be gone in maybe 2 or 3 episodes, what do you got? I don't know what this season is going to
Well,
be anymore.
I have no idea. Reality Steve, when we were on his show, just gave some vague things of like, just wait
Hmm.
for stuff that happens with the
Oh yeah,
guys. So I'm like,
that's right.
I, I mean, I don't know what that means, but I'm
Sam M
very
murders
curious.
Devin, pushes him off a balcony or something. It's on camera.
A murder. You
Yeah,
think
first
Reality
murder
Steve
in
is
history.
referencing a
This
murder?
season, there's the alert thing at the beginning, the trigger warning. If murder, scenes of murder make you feel any type of way, make you horny, then watch out for this episode.
Yeah. If stepping on necks turns your gears on.
Yeah. We had to let him do
Oh
it.
man.
That's the game. All right, portion 7 begins. It's
Okay, then we
daytime.
get this great scene
Yeah. Old Aaron
of
Erb is, in
Clues'
quotes,
conspiracy theory.
talking to Sergeant Jenkins. Okay. He's told
Sergeant
fighter.
Jenkins, is that
Yeah.
another prop master?
Anybody out there who wants to do a deep dive, show me Sergeant Jenkins. Find Sergeant Jenkins of the United States Air Force. And that's
Get
the
him on
only
the show.
information we have at this point.
Let's ask Jenkins why he said only one date for old Aaron Herb. We got too many pilots. This is your only
Mhm.
chance, kid.
And it's also like
And you can't go back
you have
after.
24 hours. You have a day to make this decision.
Yeah,
Oh,
a
coincidentally,
day to
I'm going on a
decide.
group date today. That'll help me make the decision. It's like, at the very least, the time frame of having the 24 hours to make the decision, that deadline is 100% fake. At the very
Mm,
most, there is no Sergeant Jenkins. The truth is
wow.
somewhere in there, you know. I don't know what it is, but this felt incredibly fake to me.
I mean, the book was fake. That is an argument for no Sergeant Jenkins.
Yeah.
Um, However, the way that we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Um, he gets this ultimatum. I was like, is he gonna play a sabbatical? I don't know. We get group date number 2. It is a 4-man race car driving date of Jeremy, Hakeem, Austin, and old Aaron Erb.
And let
Jen
me ask
drives
you
this
this,
pink race car
if
through
I
some
may.
pink boxes. Girl power.
Let me ask you one
Yes.
question. Group date 1 had 10 players. Group date 2 had 4. Why?
Mhm. Race
Why is that
car
disparity happening?
hours. Too expensive to rent that many race cars for
So
that many hours.
maybe, or maybe it was too
You're not
long to
asking
shoot
the right
it. I'll go with
questions,
that.
Clues.
Yeah. You're not asking the right questions. That was my Jodie Foster. Thank you,
That is one of your worst, I would say.
Mr. Lecter.
Uh,
What did the man in the cell next to me say to you, Clarice? Well, sir.
What did Miggs say to you? Multiple Miggs in the next cell.
I don't know. Okay, so sorry. We have this group date, the pink car, as you're talking about. She comes out, drives it through the boxes. She intros Jesse, an Australian race instructor, and only
her
Aaron Erb here
friend.
has ever driven a stick shift with right hand drive, so he's got a
Have
huge
you driven a
advantage, or
stick
so we
shift?
think. Yeah, that's what I learned on
Oh, I never have.
back in my youth. Um, I mean, I guess I could
Yeah, I
probably
do
still do it
think
today.
he's like the machines guy, so that's why they put him on this one.
Right
Um, it
now,
is a race, play for time.
they say it's a play for time, but was it?
There's a little time after,
I
but they
guess.
cut it. I think
Yeah.
he
I,
probably was giving Spencer.
I
one-on-one
guess.
time.
We get this training montage. The guys are having a hard time with their cars. They're knocking over cones. They're stalling the cars. It seems like old Aaron Erb is the only one who can drive it. He's doing a donut with her in the car, like driving like a stunt driver, basically, and just having the time of his life. And
Yeah,
then
that was cool.
DLP.
I would like to do that.
Yeah, I
Donut.
think this would be a very fun date to be on too. DLP intros the Bachelorette Broadsider 400 from Calder Park Raceway with Matthew Chu, a driving expert and adrenaline junkie. I didn't look him up, but I take DLP's word for it, I guess, that he's a driving expert and adrenaline junkie.
Look at you. Having
Yeah.
some restraint. Not
It
looking
was
up
more.
every bystander's Instagram.
I mean, I usually do because I'm curious, like, who are these people? How did they find them? Why are they here? This one, it didn't pique my interest.
Put out
So
a Craigslist ad. Are you an adrenaline junkie?
yeah. Do you know anything about cars? Show up to the
Um,
Calder Park Raceway.
DOP says they're terrible, and we cut to Hakeem driving the car, and you know why he's on this date. They're like,
Absolutely.
we're gonna make Hakeem scream at a little spider Goldie. We're gonna make Hakeem scream at this race car driving, and he does this open-eyed face play while he's driving, which was my face play of the game. Pour one out for my guy Hakeem. I feel like it's devastating that he
Yeah,
went out this early. His
I
face
agree.
play was one of my favorite parts of the season. He's at a disadvantage. He's going first here. He doesn't know what time he has to beat. Annoying.
I agree.
Jeremy makes a play here where
And
he pretends his
if I
car
may,
died so
if
they
I
can
may,
make out.
if I may, Hakeem's
You may.
full eye aperture, tongue sticking out of mouth, almost just a look of shock and fear at the speed of the behemoth car that he is behind the wheel of, was also my face play of the game. Couldn't agree with you more. Seeing him go home tonight was very sad for me. He was one of the most entertaining parts of this season. And when producers constantly talk about, we do what we do to make good TV, but they make decisions like this, I always question whether or not they know what good TV is. Because Hakeem is good TV. Brett Harris is good TV.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Hakeem is like making the most out of every tiny moment of screen time.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's that, there is a certain amount of needing to have a first audience game to make it believable she's keeping people, but you can just like cut him, like, like they showed Austin. He wins this race and gets a group date win. They pop champagne, he gets a kiss, and that's the extra time, I guess. It's not a
Yeah. I don't know.
nighttime
Which
date.
Jeremy got the same thing, just of his own ingenuity. As he's driving
Yeah.
around, he pretends to stall the car just to get an extra minute with her and gets a kiss in that
That was
extra
a great
minute.
play.
And as we know anything about Jen, we know two things really. She likes the small moments, and her past relationships were toxic, and no one showed up for her. We're aware of these two things very acutely because we are told them every 10 seconds. So Jeremy here is making that small moment. It was a great play, I thought. This would have been my play of the game had Devin not just blasted everybody out of the water with that group date PTC.
We get the after party of this group date, and Jen toasts the adrenaline rush, but tonight is going to be calm and learn whatever. And we see, we get more voiceover from older Nerve. He's still considering whether to play a sabbatical or make me stay or just self-eliminate. His training dates, this was a great opportunity. He can't let down Jenkins. And okay, so he gets this one-on-one time finally with Jen that he's been like hoping for this whole time to help make this 24-hour decision. And he says, I am a risk taker. I got my pilot's license. I'll take you up sometime. Okay. Yes. I'm like, okay, it's going well. And he's like, tomorrow's never promised. Wear your best pearls every day. He sees the potential and they kiss. And he says, I feel so connected. Love level 1. You're like, okay, maybe he's going to stay. Roller coaster. One-on-one time with Jeremy. Jeremy does a love level 1. I like you.
The thing with OAE here, he knows he's leaving the show. The producers are telling him you have to wait to leave tomorrow at the cocktail party. You have to pretend like you're still in it here. And like, I don't know, he's just not a great actor. I don't think I'm buying none of this. And it just feels like forced and weird. I don't know. I don't think there was a Jenkins. I think he was like, I want out of the show. This is dumb. And they were like, all right, we'll figure out something.
What has happened to our brains? We're just like, everything's a conspiracy.
We see through everything's a conspiracy. They made a fake book. A prop guy used his own name as the author of a fake book.
For a comedy bit, it's like.
They are presenting everything in this show as real. An astute audience sees through that and knows that the truth is that it's not all real, but some people do fall in love on this show and have families. So that portion of it, the ability to potentially find a relationship, is real and does sometimes happen in this show. But we know the producers are manufacturing a wide array of situations, of potential facts, props, whatever. And so once we're through that door, that they're making fake books and they are frankenbiting audio and they're cutting video of things that never happened, thinking that Sergeant Jenkins isn't real. Like literally, they put a phone in his ear. We didn't hear Sergeant Jenkins at all. We just hear him going, uh-huh. So, okay. Oh, it's Sergeant Jenkins.
By tomorrow, you're saying?
Yeah. So by tomorrow. Okay. So what you're basically telling me is my once in a lifetime fighter pilot training starts in 2 days and I have 24 hours to make that decision. And coincidentally, I have one last group date to go on to see if I can make a connection with Jen. Okay. Thanks very much. What was your name again? Sergeant Jenkins. Right. Okay. Click. Like, if it's real, let us see that it's real.
It's the beginning of a Top Gun movie.
It is.
He goes on the Bachelorette and then gets called off of it for a big mission.
They have to change all of the production to go around him now. So like the whole season of Bachelorette goes to Top Gun fighter pilot training school. Jen has to date all the fighter pilots. I'd watch that show.
Yeah, spin-off. There's your show. Yeah. Jen plays this heartbreak PTC again about her toxic exes to Jeremy. And he says he has a little crush. Love level 1. He's doing some good face play here. Yeah. And he gets those kisses. We get one-on-one time with Hakeem. We get a quick pop of his parental PTC. We get a quick pop of Austin's heartbreak PTC. And Austin and Jen both say they've never been in love. You deserve that. Getting a kiss. Austin, for me, is like the floater of the season. I'm like,
I agree.
Every time
I think he's making it to episode right before Hometowns.
We see. Wait, why did I write Ben? Who's Ben?
Ben Higgins. I don't know.
Jeremy gets that 0-pointer group date rose. We get the next portion, cocktail party. The guys approach this red velvet curtain entrance, and then they do a little parade in which they go in 2 lines around the staircase in formation, which I enjoyed this little procession. It was interesting.
I liked it too. I'll simply say this about how they shoot entries and stuff like this. I like this. Don't get me wrong. It was weird as shit. This was like a scene out of Eyes Wide Shut.
This was your ballet. Yeah.
Yeah. They're making a choice here and they're going for it. And like, that's the shot. Okay. And you guys are each going to come around the staircase on the sides and 3, 2, 1, action. They're having them act here a little bit. This is a blocked scene. That said, if you look at like a Perfect Match or a Too Hot to Handle or Love Island even, how they introduce characters and when they're coming into scenes is so much better. It's dynamic. It's not guys, going to their executions. It's like, we're about to go have fun and do something crazy. I encourage you to go back and watch Perfect Match Season 2 when the players are like coming down to the beach to their challenges and stuff. It's usually this kind of 3/4 angle shot where the players are walking in a 45-degree angle past the camera and kind of looking to the camera as they pass it with little cute winks and stuff.
Cuts to like these slow-mos that make them look like sexy and confident. I agree. Yeah.
This seemed old and dusty and out of a weird horror movie, honestly. Dusty. But I liked it. Quirky. I like that sometimes, old dusty horror movie vibes.
Jen is in a stunning silver dress with a white little fur stole thing here, and she thanks everyone. This is working for her. That's kind of an implied, my husband is in this room. And we get this one-on-one time with OAE,
Oh,
and
Jesus Christ.
he tells her about his life dream, being a pilot my entire life. And guess what? My pilot training dates are up. I got Sergeant Jenkins says I have to go right away. And I was like, well, we're not far enough along. So, and Jen goes, okay, well, I don't want to be a source of resentment. Follow your dreams. And he says, I care about you. Love level 1. And then OAE issues a vague general tattle. He says, I'm not naming names, but there are people here not ready like you. And she's like, what do you mean, like not ready? Or do you mean for TWR? And he goes, it's all of it. And this handling of his self-elimination by old Aaron Herb was my error of the game. I had so much hope for this man. He was in my hometown's bracket. I think there is a way to do this. And the way that you do that is with tear play. You do it with emotion. You go, you're my dream girl. This is my dream job. I don't want to pick between my dream girl and my dream job, but I know that I have to make this decision. And like even maybe do a make me stay. Like profess your love if you have
if
to
you
tell
want me to stay
that I'm
here.
going to hometowns.
Exactly. Put it
If
on
you want me
her.
to stay.
I agree 100%. Old Aaron Herb's crash and burn self-elimination was also my error of the game. And like you're saying, his parting shot where he was like, there's some guys here not ready to get married. And she's like, well, wait a minute. Is this a not serious enough to get married attack? Or is this a for the wrong reasons attack? And he's like, both. What?
Both.
So now you're just blanket saying like some guys are here for the wrong reasons, some aren't ready to get married, and then in the end he's like, it's on you to figure out who it is. It was just amateur hour. You can do a self-elimination in this franchise and get the crown off of it. Look at Joan Vassos.
Yes, look at Joan.
This
Joan
is not
the
how you do
model
it.
for this play.
I agree 100%. It's
like I think he'll be on sand no matter what, but if it's on the border, you are messing up here. It might be for TRR to give a post-mortem tattle if you tell them what it is. If you say it's Sam M, it's Devin, you got to get rid of them.
Yes, exactly. But I think producers here have coached him on what to say. I think he's not like, he has no ability to go off script here. They told him, go in there and just throw a wrench in it so that she can then come out and have her big lay down the law moment. That's what usually these types of tattles, that's what they lead to. And bachelorettes always get them. Bachelors sometimes get them too, but bachelorettes always get this moment roughly at this point in the season where somebody says, somebody's here for the wrong reasons or not ready to get married or whatever the accusation might be. And then she's got to come out and say, look, this is serious for me and I'm here to find a husband. And if you ain't here for that, get the hell out of my life. Yeah. And so that's kind of what we're going to get.
Or she has to do an investigation or something.
Yeah. Something to get to the bottom of it. She asked him if somebody's treating it like a game. I thought that was interesting. It's like
I did think that was interesting. What do you mean, Jen?
25 guys are treating this like a game, Jen, because it's a game. So are you. You played the game last year. It's a game.
You're very good at the game.
So he gets in his car and Jen ITM's confusion about the attack and saying that like she didn't think that he did it right, basically. Like she's like, yeah, I don't know. The way he said it was kind of shitty. But she comes to address the group and she explains what happened and what OAE said about the 4TWR attack and not being ready for marriage. And she lays down her law moment here. If you're not here for the right reasons, then you need to get out.
OAE wasn't ready for the follow-up questions. He was like, okay, I've got my one line memorized. Jenkins, we're not far enough along. Go. And then she's like, follow-up question. He's like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, he's like, it's on you. You got to figure it out. Deuces.
Look, I'm not trying to scare you. Bye.
Yeah. I have to go talk to Sergeant Johnson or Jenkins it was,
Johnson, I
or
want
what
to
was his name
say.
again? I thought her laying down of the law was weak, honestly. I like her as Bachelorette. I
Mm.
thought this was a very bad Crown performance of the laying down of the law. Wasn't very emotional. It was just kind of like, look, if you're not here for the same stuff, then, you got to leave. And all
I
the
think
guys are
it's
like, well, okay, whatever.
I think what takes away from it is that this is the clip we've seen all season. I've made the wrong decisions my whole life.
Yeah.
We're hearing her say that a million times. So it takes the power out of when she says it to them in this
Mhm.
moment. I did like her being like, this is the ignition I needed, lights a fire in a
Yeah.
mask. I hope she takes that energy into next week and maybe launches a full blown investigation. I would love to see some more of Jen's sense of humor coming out in
I
these
agree.
episodes. It's seeming very serious right now.
Yeah. And very serious in a repetitive, dumb way. That's like, I get it. Her last relationships weren't good. Now she's looking for a good one. I get that. I understand that. I never need to hear it again. And I think we're going to hear it 100 more times an episode. But I also think that her laying down the law moment had something taken away from it because there wasn't a specific target. The best versions of this moment are like, Johnny is
Devin,
trying
get
to
out.
sell his tequila brand. That's why he's there. And then she goes and gets Johnny and she's like, are you here to sell your goddamn tequila brand? Get the hell out of my life. And then she
Yes,
comes and
a
addresses the guys
dismissal.
and is like, I sent Johnny home because he was not here for the right reasons. And if you're not, I'll fucking kick you out too. So if you're
I'll
staying,
stomp on
that
your
means you're
neck.
in this. It
I'll
held
make
no
Sam M
weight for me.
stomp on your neck.
Yeah. That moment is like a crucial piece of a lead's performance over the course of their season. And I just thought this fell very flat. It will go down in my books as one of the worst lay down the law moments that we've seen.
Oh my God, roasted.
Yeah.
Next portion, we get this guy chat. John's like, who's here for a game show? And Devin dismisses it. I think Devin thinks he's the target of the general vague
Of
title. He's
course.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's using his last moments to shit talk like he's dead. And Sam M, don't dismiss how OAE handled that. He's like, I think I'm protected. He's
Yeah.
on my team. Keep it to the main thing, the main thing.
Yeah.
The main
Keep the main
thing
thing the
he
main thing.
repeats over and over. That's
That's
like
his
stay in
ism.
your lane.
Yeah. He's
I'm
trying to get
focused
the
on
main
first
thing, the
audience.
main thing.
Yeah. We get one-on-one time with Marcus. And, he's like, I'm thinking about you when we're not together. I'm like, you mean when you don't have a phone or internet
Yeah.
or family or friends
Yeah.
around you?
Every once in a while, I'm like, shit, I'm on The Bachelorette. And then I start thinking about, well, who's The Bachelorette? Oh, yeah, it's you. And so every once in a while that happens. But usually I can just keep it blank up there. Usually I can just be
Yeah.
complete void, just,
Hmm.
floating through
That's what
nothing.
they teach us. Void.
Yeah.
It's like in Shogun, they talk about how they go to like their closet in their mind, the tower in their mind or whatever when they're
Hell yeah.
dissociating
Gotta
trauma.
do it.
Um anyway, Sam M starts to set up this ultimatum. Jen can't love us both about Devin. Don't speak on my name. Let's talk outside if you want to talk. And then Sam is very good at reeling it in. He does not ever bring up Devin. He spends that
Yeah.
one-on-one time. He does make a mini error here, which is like, she's like, "How you doing?" He's like, "Long night, OAU was my boy," and she's like, "I'm glad you're good. You weren't rattled by my speech." I'm like, he should have issued a "How you doing" in this moment. He was
I
too
agree.
much in like, I just lost my bro.
Yeah. It can
Gotta
never be about
focus on that
bros.
first audience.
It is only ever about first audience, and his whole game is first audience. He's got a
Yeah.
bad second audience game. I don't know how producers feel about him, but I would guess that they view him only as one half of a rivalry. They're going to
Yeah.
blow him up that way. So his only game to stay in the game for like a potential hometown really is Jen. It's the first audience. And I agree with you. I think he made a little misstep here, but he kind of
But he
buys it
does
back,
say
I
he gets
suppose.
validation from her gaze
Yeah.
play, the little moments, and he's like, "Your speech doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
I trust the process." They make out. We see one-on-one time with Devin right after that, and they talk about previous relationships. Jen never showed her bad days. She produces tears here with Devin. She's
Yeah.
getting vulnerable as well, and he loves the vulnerability. He says it felt like meeting you all over again, your speech. I'm like, oh my God, he doesn't miss.
Yeah. He's
He
really
has a
good.
very
I mean,
strong first audience game.
I think he's a great player. And I think because he's embroiled in this rivalry, he will go down in the history books as, I think, underrated. I really think he's a fantastic player. And I mean, goddamn, if he gets to playoffs, which I think he will, maybe that'll turn around what I'm kind of thinking of him
You
as
think
in my mind.
he'll make it to hometowns?
I think he has a shot, yeah.
Whoa. No, you might
But
be
I just
right. Like, I
I
mean,
could see it being
you'll see
him,
what my
Dylan,
awards are.
maybe Sam N
Uh,
would make. I don't know. I don't know. After you
yeah,
get out
who
of this
wins,
kind of
Sam M or
tier,
Devin?
what's that?
Who wins, Sam M or Devin?
Devin, because I don't think Sam M is going to be able to talk. And to win a 2-on-1, you have to be able, like, that is just a logic puzzle. You have to basically promote the idea to the Bachelorette that keeping me will make you look less bad, basically. You know what I mean? You're going to have to kick one of us off, so you have to choose a side in this rivalry. And what you're trying to convince the lead of is that if you pick my side, the fourth audience will like you more. If you pick their side, the fourth audience is going to hate you for kicking me off. That's literally all you're
Unless
doing on
she
a
just
2-on-1.
misses both of them.
Exactly. Something like that, or keeps them both, which we've never seen. But I just don't think Sam
No, I
N
think we have.
has those
We've seen him keep
chops.
them both, haven't we?
Have we? I don't know.
I feel like
Maybe.
maybe once. We see this guy chat. Sam M's doing faceplay. Hakeem's worried about turtling. John does my runner-up for faceplay right here. Big eyes. And tensions are high in the guy chat. And DLP tings. Catch your
8
breath,
tings.
boys. See you at Rose.
I loved
8?
this Ting moment where Spencer is like telling everybody to shut the F up and simmer down, even though he has a rose in pocket. Then we get this 8 Ting from DOP, standard playtime over. Sam N is like, well, guys, the night is still young. And Spencer's like, no, it's not. The tings mean standard play is over. He has to explain to him
like that.
basically what the tings are, the game mechanic of it. I loved that moment. But Austin and Hakeem here look like they both got turtled, which is not great, obviously. And then the rose ceremony takes place, and she gives kind of a weak speech. She brings up the 4 TWR attack from OAE again. She knows her intentions to get engaged. The rose tonight means you're ready for it too. It's very rote. She's not putting any spin on this. There's no like Jenn in these speeches. It's just like the producers tell her to come out and say this, and she says it. And we see Marcus gets that first flower, followed by John M, Jonathan Austin, Grant, Sam M, Thomas N, Dylan. We get that final rose. There is a dark touch issued by DLP here, and Sam N gets the final rose, meaning we say goodbye to Hakeem Moulton and Thomas Azano. You will be remembered. Maybe Thomas Azano, you won't be, but Hakeem Moulton, you will be remembered.
Austin produces tears.
I know.
Great
I
second
couldn't believe
audience
that.
play here.
That was crazy. Yeah, I did too.
When Hakeem love level 4s all the guys,
Yeah.
and there's an awkward hug between Jen and Sam N here. Sam M is hitting his main thing in the ITMs again. We see Devin get the cheers, and we hear this villainous laugh come out of Devin.
Yeah.
And we go off on this ITM of Sam M going, I can instill fear. If this was the real world, I'd snap you in half.
Yikes. Terrifying. Are they going to come to blows? They better put them on a forced violence group date next week, which looks like it's taking place in New Zealand, where Devin is going to issue a love level 3. There's some more leaps of faith, ferocious love from Sam M. She's falling for Sam. Devin and Sam M fight some more. Sam N is not there for a bromance. He gets ready. He gets a not ready for love attack, and then this mystery person shows up. And that is the end of the episode. Who was your MVP, Pacecase?
Hands down, for his play of the game, being, again, the Devin show this episode, 2 episodes in a row. Devin was my MVP.
Devin was also my MVP. for all the reasons you mentioned, there ain't a show without this man now. If he's not in this program, I don't know what the program is. It's just Jenn Tran saying, I had a bunch of bad relationships again and again and again and again to guys who are kind of like dull. I look now at this season through a different lens after this episode, which is, what would this show have been like if Maria was the Bachelorette? And I don't know. She would be chewing these guys up and spitting them out. I don't know what of these guys could even hang with her. And to think that like they cast this season for her with these guys is very strange to me.
I mean, there's no ring winner for Maria in this bunch.
Correct. There's nobody who can even be on the screen with her, in my opinion, and like hold their own. It's very weird to me to think like what the reasoning was behind it. And I don't know how many guys were switched out at the last minute to try and make it a more Jenn Tran kind of tailored dating pool. But I don't know. This episode was the first one where I was kind of like, what are we watching here? What's going on? There was a lot of weak sauce in this episode.
The one-on-one was tough. The rivalry is definitely carrying it for me. I think that like while there's not real like a lot of real ring winner players, there's a lot of very entertaining characters.
Yeah, you can see paradise forming for sure. Like who's going to be there? All three of the guys in this rivalry, meaning Thomas and I'd put OAE in there. Thomas and OAE, Sam McKinney, and Devin Strader are all going to be on Paradise.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I don't think she winds up with anybody unless it's Dylan. And I think that's a very outside shot.
The thing he has against him for ring winner and crown is the age.
Yes, exactly. And I think that will ultimately be the reason that she eliminates him. It always is. Always is. But nonetheless, that was...
Maybe that skeleton or resurrection.
She winds up with her skeleton.
Yeah.
She goes back into the toxic relationship.
Never
Then he comes back. I know it was toxic. I know I never showed up for you, but I went to therapy. And then that's it. Absolved. She marries him on the spot. We'll see. We'll find out all of the answers to all of these questions.
Hey, we once had a resurrection be a ring winner. Ed on Jillian's season.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, we'll see if that happens here on this season. Please join us for the rest of this week. We have our This Week in Bachelor Nation coming out at the end of the week. And also, I must mention again, all of those Too Hot to Handle Season 6 episodes in our Patreon Clues Corner right now. You can watch them with me. I hope you'll enjoy those. But
I'm in Minnesota right now, but Clues is still in the LA area going to those gore watch parties. So if you want to watch with us, go watch with us, me and Spirit, Clues in physical form. Go to 33 Taps in Silverlake Monday nights.
Indeed, I'll see you there.
Praise be Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then